everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Crystal.
And we are the Cruising Chicks. In today's video, we are going to talk about 5 things that we think are just helpful when you're getting ready to go on a cruise.
These things they help us
So much.
and we've picked these tips up throughout the years.
Yes.
So hopefully they help you.
And they're not all items.
Yeah.
Some of them are, you know, other things. I'm making loads of sense today, guys. But on that note, we're just gonna jump right in since I've lost all the marbles in my head.
The first one is a charging block. And what I mean by that is you can bring a power strip that is not a surge protector.
Yes, they are very serious about the surge
Yes.
protectors. Cannot have a surge protector.
Or we have one of these that's got multiple charging ports, because sometimes there may only be 1 or 2 outlets in the entire room.
Especially on the older ships.
Yeah. So if you're trying to plug in phones, watches, cameras, you know, and you have more than 2 people in the room, you know, you're going to be fighting over outlets.
Right.
So those things are amazing. We have one, it has like 5 or 6 outlets on it, and you just
some USB ports.
USB ports, yeah, and you plug it right into the outlet and it saves you. Keeps everything somewhat organized too.
Your table is still a mess of cords, but
Yeah. But it definitely helps.
It does. So the next thing we want to talk about are your over-the-counter medicines. And I don't know how many of you, the older I get, the more I need a good Tums after a day of drinking or after eating pizza. So I have found that buying Tums, or the equivalent of Tums on the ship, is crazy expensive. And sometimes, you know, I could get an indigestion attack at 3 o'clock in the morning. And unfortunately, like, the shops aren't open at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, the one time I did run into this issue that I did not bring my own medicine was on the Symphony, and they had a really cool kiosk, but that's not going to be available on every ship. So I highly suggest, you know, making sure that you purchase like your Tums, your Tylenol, your sunscreen, your aloe vera, your Bonine, or
Yes.
whatever seasickness medicine you prefer, because I've had to buy it on the ship too, and it's like $13 versus like $4 at the grocery store.
Yes.
So, you know, just making sure you're picking that up before you leave, because you're going to be paying double to triple the price for all of it, either on the ship or in port.
Yes, everything is so much more expensive. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
You wouldn't think it would be, but it is.
So it is. So the next thing that we do before we cruise is YouTube. And we YouTube the ships, we YouTube the ports, we YouTube the food, the entertainment, like anything that we can think of to YouTube. We YouTube like just different excursion opportunities that are in these ports. We watch a lot of cruise vlogs, especially like if they're on that ship doing a similar itinerary, or even if they're just on that ship or they're just going on that itinerary. We binge watch a lot of cruise vlogs, which is what started us on our own cruise vlogging. But so if you're not wanting to go into your trip blind, then I highly suggest doing some sort of YouTube research to get the information. Like I said, even if you don't want to know what the ship looks like, do an itinerary. Like, look up the ports of call you're going to and look at excursion options, because you won't regret it. And you might save money on excursions, and you might find the really cool spots on the ship that nobody else is at.
Exactly.
We've learned, what ship did we do that on? We ended up on the front. We ended up behind the where the captain's at, the bridge, and you could look onto the bridge. It was the Explorer, wasn't it?
I feel
like it was the Explorer. It was so cool, and like nobody was out there, but we had seen it on a YouTube video, and that you could go out there, like secret decks, you know.
Yeah.
So it always helps, even if you just want to Google secret decks on your ship. Like I'm sure somebody has put up a video of it.
It always makes us feel a little more comfortable to know the layout of the ship and what's on the ship before we get on, so that we're more prepared.
Right.
And the next thing I want to talk about is packing cubes and storage of our suitcases.
Yes, we are huge packing cubers.
Yes, you probably heard us talk about these before. We definitely love to use them. They're the little nylon bags that zip up. We like to put pants in one, tops in another, bathing suits in another, and just zip them up, put them in your suitcase, and then when you're ready to unpack, you can put them in your little section in your closet, and then that way you can pull them out each day, get dressed from there.
It makes things so much easier to know that like I'm getting a bathing suit, my bathing suits and my swim, like my cover-ups are in this bag, and that's the only bag that I need to pull out of my out of the closet at a time, versus, you know, having to rifle through a whole stack of clothing that's just in there, and you're just, it's like freewheeling in there. So when we discovered packing cubes on somebody's channel, like we've been using packing cubes for like 10 years now, for a long time, and we saw that and we were like, oh, that looks great. So we've been doing that, and we love it.
Exactly. It helps save space too in your luggage.
You know, now they make the compression ones, which I'm interested to try, because you know we overpack a lot. So I would be interested to try the compression ones. Obviously we haven't tried those, so we can't give you a recommendation on if it's better than the regular packing cube or not, but I've seen a lot of people talking about them lately.
And when we're done unpacking, we like to store our suitcases underneath the beds. There's usually nothing under there.
Sometimes they might have like an extra bed roll, so like, you know, like the comforter and stuff, but usually you can still fit 4 suitcases under there fine. And so that's a good place to hide your suitcases, get them out of the way, and still leave all your storage for your stuff. Right.
And you can even, if somebody has a smaller one, stack them inside each other, just so you can free up your space and still have room to move around in your cabin.
Right.
So those are some good tips there as far as organizing.
And then our last tip for you is to let loose when you're on the cruise. You are not going to see these people ever again, more than likely. We say that as we've seen people on multiple cruises, but that's neither here nor there.
I was gonna say, I have seen people on cruises that I know before, but you know.
But for the most part, you are not going to see these people again.
No.
They don't care what you're doing. Go out, sing your karaoke, dance the dances, agree to be in Cookie's air guitar competitions.
Yep.
Do it. He's hilarious, and you will regret it as you're doing it, because you're gonna be so embarrassed with thousands of people staring at you on the pool deck. But do it, because we had a blast.
Raise your hand and nominate yourself to be a judge in the hairy chest competition.
I will never forgive Frankie for that. I was in a hot tub, and he said, I need somebody in the ages of like 25 to 29. And I was like, yeah, that's me. And he sees me, and I was like, Frankie, no. Frankie, no. Frankie, no. And I got voluntold. So I go, I judge, and then I get home, and about 3 days later, I get a Facebook message from a friend of mine from high school, and she's like, is this you? And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And it happened to be her best friend and her husband, and it was the husband I'm feeling all up on. recommend having as much fun as you can, relaxing, but like letting loose and just trying everything that these cruise lines have to offer. You won't regret it.
No, definitely, because clearly he was doing the hairy chest.
Exactly. He clearly was doing the competition. He was the one that was shirtless. Okay. He was doing the dancing. I was just doing the touching. Very awkwardly too. Like, ooh.
So yes.
But we have seen people on cruises multiple times. So that's and we have embarrassed ourselves in front of this guy and then sat next to him at dinner on the next cruise, and he's like, and we're like,
not us.
But then also like, but you're the terry cloth guy. Like, we know you. But still, it was okay. He thought we were great, and he remembered us because of how we acted on the previous cruise and the things that we had gotten talked into doing. So have as much fun as humanly possible. Let loose, right?
Yep, and enjoy it. Even
Crystal did the air guitar contest.
I sure did.
She went first. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
All right, but we hope these tips helped you in some way, some form, in some fashion, even if it is that you just go out and have a ball on your next cruise.
All right, see you guys next time.